Welcome back to Trending Today. It was a strong quarter for Godrej Properties as profits more than doubled on the back of near 80% revenue growth this time. Executive Chairman Pirojsha Godrej spoke to BTVI, giving us the drivers behind the growth that they saw in the fourth quarter. Listen in to what he had to say.
It's been a very strong quarter for the company. We had our fourth consecutive quarter with over 1,000 crore of booking value registered for the company. That sales was distributed quite nicely between different geographies and between launches and sustenance sales from our existing projects. We had one new launch in Gurgaon in a project called Godrej Nature Plus, and that project saw sales of about 250 units with a booking value that was about 245 crore. So that project did quite well. What was especially encouraging was that from our existing inventory, we sold almost 1 million square feet of space with a booking value of well over 700 crore, which is one of the highest ever quarters in the company's history on that metric. Most of our sales this quarter were residential sales. We did have about 30,000 square feet of sales in our commercial project in Kolkata, but aside from that, all the sales were residential. And we saw strong growth in all our reported numbers. Our revenue grew sharply to about 800 crore, Our EBITDA grew by 100% to 220 crore. And our net profit increased by 126% to about 141 crore. So I think on all of the financial metrics, the quarter was quite good. But I think more importantly is some of the underlying operating performance levers, such as sales, which I just mentioned, but also business development, which is a big priority for the company at the moment, and where we were able to add 4 new projects this quarter, and that takes the total new projects for the year to about 12, with 23 million square feet of new space.
Sure. So with a lot of recent developments happening in the sector, has there been major impact or repricing involved, especially in areas of Mumbai or NCR?
No, I think, prices haven't moved much in the recent past in the industry. If at all, over the last 2 or 3 years, in places like NCR, there have been reductions in prices. I think somewhere like Mumbai, prices have been relatively flat. If you mean the new development plan in Mumbai and the new development control rules, I think the details of those are still awaited, so it's a little bit too soon to comment on it. But our sense is that, affordability in the sector is now the best it's been in about the last 15 or 20 years, because people's incomes have been steadily growing. Interest rates are at the lowest point they've been this decade. You have actual housing pricing being flat in most markets, and as I mentioned, places like NCR, you've actually seen price reductions. So we think that this high level of affordability with RERA coming in and the improved consumer confidence that is leading to, we do think it's quite likely that you'll see a much better year for the sector in the year ahead.
Sure. So you've also added 4 new projects with 6 million square feet saleable area. So how is the project pipeline looking like?
I think the project pipeline is looking quite exciting, both in terms of what has already been added to our portfolio. But I would say our number one priority for the current financial year is to further strengthen our financial portfolio, our development portfolio. We've actually, to make sure that we have the capital we need to make the investments to build that portfolio, we've actually, through a preferential allotment, our board has just approved today a plan to raise 1,000 crore of equity capital. This will, I think, allow us to accelerate the number and quality of new projects we're able to add this year. But I think given the fact that the market itself is very weak, our own sales performance has been strong, and now we will have this added liquidity with which to invest. We certainly hope to ensure that the current financial year is our best ever year for business development.
Right. A lot has been also happening with the Mumbai development plan in terms of FSI. So do we see Godrej Properties aggressively investing in affordable housing in Maharashtra?
I think the housing market as a whole is a big opportunity. I think affordable housing is certainly a very big part of that and a big overall driver, and that will be an area of focus. But we see a lot of opportunity in the mid-income space and the more premium space as well. So I think in the top 4 real estate markets in the country, which are Mumbai, NCR, Bangalore, and Pune, we would like to be quite aggressive in terms of entering new micro markets and building on our presence in each of those 4 cities across different price points of residential development.
Right. A lot has been also happening around the Navi Mumbai airport area, since that's one area which is being aggressively developed. Are you in any recent future planning to do something there?
We do have a large township project in Panvel, which is not too far from the planned new airport. So certainly we think that project can get a boost as and when the progress on the airport further accelerates. I think, one of the key things that Godrej Properties looks at anytime we're entering a new project is we do map out the city and the type of infrastructure projects that have been announced and planned in the city and try to forecast what that will do for real estate demand in various micro markets and try to be most aggressive in the markets that we think are most benefited by the future infrastructure.
All right, well, that is Pirojsha Godrej of Godrej Properties taking us through what was a good quarter for the company. They saw an uptick of 79% as far as the revenue number goes. Came in at 850 crores, that's versus 475 crores in the same quarter last year. EBITDA as well went up 100%, so came in at about 221 crores, that's versus 110 crores. So very, very strong numbers on that front. Margins as well expanded, so the EBITDA margin expanded, came in at 26%, that's versus 23.1% last time around, and PAT as well grew 126% year on year. Of course, remember, a lower base is what we were working with last year around, but nonetheless, very, very strong numbers coming in from Godrej Properties. Profit after tax, in fact, coming in at 142 crores, so that becomes the important number to watch now for the company going ahead. The net debt to equity as well stands at 1.27 times, that's versus 1.75 times year on year, so they have actually brought that down, and the average borrowing cost is at 7.8%, that's versus 8.8% last time around as well. So overall, looks like a strong quarter for the company, and that's really why we're seeing the sort of reaction that we are seeing in trade today. But let's also talk about, of course, on the special in this run-up to the upcoming Karnataka election. Let's listen into Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Member of Parliament at the Rajya Sabha, who highlights the issues of India.